Welcome back to Readability. If you didn't know already, this is a kid podcast that's all about reading. Don't know a good book to read? Visit Readability and I'll help you out. Every Saturday, I'll either read, review, or recommend different books just for you. Lay back and listen to this week's episode. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of Readability. This episode, I wanted to talk about the second book in the Shatter Me trilogy by Tahereh Mafi. I reviewed the first book not long ago, so if you haven't listened to that, you probably should, or at least read the first and second book. If not, this review really won't make much sense. I have very contrasting opinions than the first, you'll see very soon. If you're curious, I have yet to finish the 20 pages left in Ignite Me, the last book for me in the original Shatter Me trilogy. I'm just procrastinating it. I don't really know why. I'm just not really enjoying it as much as I thought I would. Anyways, so whenever I finish that, I'll be giving my review as soon as possible. Also, this is very important to mention, I've changed the layout for my review slightly. Okay, so first off, I've gotten rid of the overall thoughts part, and instead it's a pros and cons chart, so I'll be listing the pros and cons of each book instead of just listing my overall thoughts. Then instead of that standout scenes or spoiler segment, it'll change depending on my feeling of what I just feel like doing. It'll either be me rambling on about some spoilers in the book and some scenes I want to talk about, but can't because they're spoilers with not much script, or me reading out my favorite or important quotes. Both will include some spoilers, especially the prior, but the latter, maybe it might not. Keep that in mind, and let's get started with this review. Continuing from the previous book, Julia escapes with Adam to the Omega Point, a place that contains people with magical powers, just like hers. She realizes that more than anything, Warner wants Juliet back because he's really in love with her or something. It's kind of concerning at this point. In the book, we are trying to figure out the reason Adam can touch Juliet, and Juliet also holding the weight on her back that Warner can also touch her, which of course he can't. They also get ready for this new revolution and battle that the Omega Point, are going to start. The author is Tahereh Mafi. This book has 461 pages in it. The publishing brand is HarperCollins, and this is the second book in the original Shatter Me trilogy. You know what? I'd give this a solid 3 stars out of 5 if I had to rate it, for reasons I will explain soon. It's just right in the middle of the scale, nothing crazy. Definitely moments that made me angry, but some scenes I liked. But at the same time, I don't remember that much. Maybe I should push down the rating. 2.5, maybe 2 stars? I can't really decide, but if I had to be totally honest, I'd give it a pretty low rating. It just wasn't for me. Time for the pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. First, I think Kenji really stepped up his game in this book and really stood out compared to literally everybody else. But what were we expecting? Everybody loves Kenji. He cares a lot about his friends, and Juliet, their friendship is so wholesome and amazing. I love Kenji so much. There are multiple times where he would snap her out of her stupidity and actually push her in the right direction. Thank you so much. Another pro would probably be the second half of the book. It was so much better and actually interesting than the first. And I'll explain why the first half was insanely boring. Action was actually happening. I don't want to go into detail what those things are because that's spoilers. But all I'll say is that so much more action. And I suppose some plot twists were good, I guess. Especially the one with Adam and Warner. If you know, you know. That one really caught me off guard, and guess what? It was in the second half of the book, I think. Pretty sure it was. I feel like if I could, I would destroy the first half of this book because, oh my gosh. When I think of the first half, I see Adam and Juliet, and then in the second half, I see Warner, Kenji, and Castle. So much more interesting. Then we have the cons of this book. Okay. There was so much conflict, drama between Warner, Adam, and Juliet, that love triangle. Constant conflict. And sometimes that's a good thing. It makes me interested in the story. But this is the bad kind of conflict and drama. It's actually really tiring. It's just so back and forth and back and forth. Oh my gosh. It was really only with Adam and Juliet. Sometimes when Warner would show up, it was actually kind of interesting. The drama with him was actually kind of interesting. It was so up and down and up. I was rolling my eyes at them arguing. Just break up or something, please. And especially when something gets revealed about Adam, it's just, oh my gosh. Okay. Another con is just the first half of the book. This con is really similar to the first one. It's just, it took me a lot of work to get through the first half. I was regretting picking up the second book, and just know that I had just finished The Silvered Serpents by Roshni Chokshi, and if you know how I feel about The Gilded Wolves, it's one of my favorite series, and that ending broke me, so I suppose that was another thing that made it even worse and harder to get through this book. I don't know. Also, I feel the training scenes were really boring. Or maybe that's just a sign that I don't really like training scenes. Maybe I don't like Tahereh Mafi's training scenes. They just bored me out a lot, and I wish something else was happening besides, training. You know what I mean? I guess it's just a me thing. Alright, time for some character thoughts on this book. Let's get started. There's not a lot because these characters, there's only one that I kind of like. So, sorry about that. First, we have Juliet, as always, pretty dumb, and still really don't like her. To be fair, I understand, her always overthinking stuff, because I can relate to that. But, besides that, I still really don't like her character, and this is the same for Adam. So I'm putting them in the same paragraph or, segment. Yeah, it's that bad. I don't even have enough to say about them to put them in two separate segments. The other characters shine so much brighter than these two, and oh my god, the drama actually tired me. It was draining. It was emotionally draining. I usually really like drama in books. It's fun to read about. For example, the drama whenever Warner was around was kind of genuinely interesting. But these two, it just, oh my gosh, it was so tiring. I hate them so much. These two are my least favorite characters. Sorry about that to people who actually like these two. Anyways, Warner has this little plot with Adam nearing the last third of the book, I think. I don't really remember, but that's besides the point. Which was actually really interesting and gets more interesting in the last book or the third book. But still any moment with Julia and Warner were really the only moments I enjoyed with either of them. That's not wholly true with Warner, but you know what I mean. Juliet was only interesting with Warner. That feels so mean to say, but it's true. Warner is still having troubles with his dad, especially since he finally showed up at reestablishment. That was interesting, and it also gets revealed in this book Warner's first name. I'm not gonna say it, but it does get revealed, even though I spoiled it for myself. I spoiled Warner's first name. I don't even know how. Next, Castle to me felt kind of suspicious in a way, but at the same time reassuring. I don't know. I don't really know how to put it. I liked him, but he didn't do anything special. Kind of felt like he was gonna be this twist villain in a way. You know what I mean? And then really quickly, Kenji, I kind of already talked about him. He's still a really good character, probably one of the only good characters in this entire series. Yeah, everybody would love to have a friend like Kenji. He's the best person ever. Alrighty, I have some quotes from the book that I kind of wanted to read out. So first of all, this will contain spoilers because the ones I chose are all spoilers. So first, and I didn't forget to mention this because this is a spoiler, but on page 61, where Juliet punches through the floor, the quote was, "and punching my fist right through the floor." And it's what's that word? Anyways, that was kind of insane. I was not expecting that. And the reason she did it was so stupid too. It's because of Adam. Oh well. This other one, it's on page 155. 5. This one caught me off guard because I kind of understand. I forget why she says this, but Juliet in her monologue says, "No one ever stops to ask glue how it's holding up." Okay, Juliet. Alrighty. That's an interesting one. Another one is, this is James to Juliet, and James is still the most wholesome kid ever. We love him. I forget what, this is on page 201. I forget why he's doing this, but this is what I wrote down. And he hugs me and tells me not to cry because he believes in me. I forget, they might be going to Warner. I think it's that scene where they go to like distract him and kidnap him, I think. Is that in this book? Yeah. And James is just wishing Juliet good luck. And it's so wholesome. Oh, I love them. Well, James, not really. Juliet. Then on page 246 is the big reveal. Adam says, "My father," he says, "This man is my father," aka Warner's dad. Or, well, no, it's both of their dad, but he's first introduced as just Warner's dad, but when it gets revealed that it's also Adam's dad, what? They're related? Ooh. That's kind of awkward, especially for Juliet. And then this quote on page 329, I forget who says this. It's not in quotation marks, so I think Juliet might have been thinking this. And I also think this is about Warner. It says, "Because it's so hard to be kind to the world when all you've ever felt is hate." Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably her talking about, like, her past and how people would treat her, like, really, really badly because of her powers. Just saying. I like that one. And also, the last quote in the book. Wait. The last line. "And now I'm leaving my gloves behind." Whoa. I did like that one. The last line in Shatter Me wasn't as good, but I like this one a lot. "And I'm leaving my gloves behind." Yes, I do like that one. Also, around page 88, Juliet didn't, like, stop to think about Warner. I'm pretty sure this is when it gets revealed that, how Adam is able to touch Juliet because he, disables her powers. And that's why she punches, the hole through the, I was going to say the wall, the floor, almost breaking the entire, Omega point. That's fun. But when it gets revealed, Juliet doesn't stop to think about Warner. Like, does he have the same powers? Like, how is he able to touch Juliet? Like, she doesn't think about it because of course she doesn't, because she's Juliet. Of course she doesn't. And finally, this scene, when Warner is taken, or he goes back to his dad, Anderson. Oh, that's his name, Anderson. And he does this. Anderson backhands Warner in the face so hard Warner actually sways for a moment, already unsteady from all the blood he's losing. But he doesn't say a word. Because I'm pretty sure he was, like, defending Juliet, which he didn't have to do because Juliet I just don't like her. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah. He was defending her, and then he gets slapped in the face by his dad. So, this book is really good. And that's the end of this episode of Readability. I hope you enjoyed. This book was really something, and I like talking about it, and also I really like the new setup. It's easier for me to talk about it. And I kind of got bored of the last one, so a change was really, really nice. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week for another episode. Bye-bye!